Today we're taking a look at the Oregon State vs Houston Ramblers match, which is happening on Monday, March 29, 2021 at 7:15 p.m., and giving you my betting tips and predictions in general on this game. Welcome back to High Stakes. Let's get straight into it. Also, don't forget to subscribe to get notified as soon as we release these sport prediction videos. In this unprecedented sports year, the 12th-seeded Oregon State Beavers look to make NCAA tournament history on Monday, as they take on the second-seeded Houston Cougars with a trip to the Final Four on the line. The Beavers continued their magical run with a win over Sister Jean's Loyola Chicago team by a score of 65-58 on Saturday. The Cougars, who have been near the top of the rankings all season, knocked off the Syracuse Orange 62-46 on Saturday. The 12th-seeded Oregon State Beavers take on the Houston Cougars in the Elite Eight of the NCAA tournament Monday night at 7:15 p.m. EST at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis. Currently, the Cougars are favored by 8 points, down from 8.5 points at the opening. The Beavers put on a solid defensive effort in the opening half versus the Ramblers of Loyola Chicago in the Sweet 16 and were able to hold them off in the second half to pick up a 7-point win. And while the team shot just 41% from the floor in the contest while hitting 5 of 13 treys, they held the Ramblers to 33% shooting while giving up just 5 of 23 attempts from three-point range. Leading scorer Ethan Thompson was critical in the low-scoring affair, going 6-13 FG while hitting 2 of 3 from deep to post 22 points, while Worth Alatish finished with a double-double with 10 points and 11 boards. Oregon State also covered for the 6th straight game as underdogs. Houston is 21-9 against the spread overall this season, and 2-1 against the spread in the NCAA tournament. The Cougars covered the spread in their last game, as they were a 6.5-point favorite in their 16-point win over Syracuse. Oregon State is 21-9-1 against the spread this season, and they have covered the spread in 6 consecutive games, covering their 3 NCAA tournament games and their 3 Pac-12 tournament games. The Beavers were a 7-point underdog in their latest win over Loyola. The over-under is 15-15 in Houston's 30 games this season, while the over-under is 18-13 in Oregon State's 31 games against Division I opponents. The Oregon State Beavers may be from a power conference, but they were not supposed to be here. I'm not talking about the Elite Eight, I'm talking about the NCAA tournament. At 14-12 overall, and 10-10 in the conference, heading into the Pac-12 tournament, Oregon State earned the number 5 seed in the conference tournament, and had to beat 3 higher-seeded teams just to qualify for the NCAA tournament. 1 loss in any of those 3 games, and they would have been sitting home like the rest of us. 2 of their Pac-12 tourney wins were close games, but they have kicked it up a notch in the big dance, defeating Tennessee, Oklahoma State, and Loyola by an average of 10.3 points per game. Overall, the Beavers have won 6 straight, and 9 of their last 10 games. With a win, Oregon State will become the lowest-seeded team to ever make the Final Four. They haven't made the Final Four since 1963, and they are just the second number 12 seed to make the Elite Eight, joining the 2002 Missouri Tigers, who lost to second-seeded Oklahoma in the Elite Eight. In Saturday's game, the Beavers stymied fan favorite Loyola in the first half, giving up just 16 points to the Ramblers in the first 20 minutes, as they took on an 8-point halftime lead. Oregon State shot 41.2% from the floor and 38.5% from three-point range. Ethan Thompson led the way with a game-high 22 points, while Worth Alatish recorded a double-double with 10 points and 11 rebounds in the win. 9 players played at least 11 minutes in the game. Oregon State fought to keep the dream alive on Saturday, beating a fellow Cinderella team in Loyola Chicago. Oregon State beat Loyola Chicago by the final score of 65-58 to punch its ticket to the Elite Eight for the first time in over 50 years. Oregon State has now run the table in the Pac-12 conference and the first 3 games in the NCAA tournament, beating Tennessee, Oklahoma State, and Loyola Chicago along the way. Oregon State's leading scorer this season has been Ethan Thompson, who has scored 15.8 points per game for the Beavers. Oregon State as a team has scored 70.8 points per game and has shot the ball at a 43.5% clip from the field. Oregon State has also allowed 61.3 points per game to its opponents as well. Thompson has really stepped up his game in the 3 games of the NCAA tournament. He has averaged 20.3 points per game in the tournament, 4.5 points higher than his team leading 15.8 points per game for the season. Second leading scorer Jared Lucas is averaging 12.9 points per game this season. Alatish is leading the team with 8.7 rebounds per game this season, and 10.7 boards per game in the NCAA tournament. The Beavers are averaging 70.8 points per game this season, while they are shooting 43.5% from the floor and 35.6% from three-point range. Defensively, Oregon State is giving up 67.7 points per game, while their opponents are shooting 42.6% from the floor and 29.8% from three-point range. Second-seeded Houston has been one of the best teams in college basketball this season, and it has proven itself so far in the NCAA tournament. The Cougars opened with a blowout win over number 15 Cleveland State before sneaking past number 10 Rutgers in a 63-60 final. They put together what might have been their best game of the tournament on Saturday in a 62-46 win over Syracuse. The Orange were red-hot coming into the game, but the Cougars were too much to overcome defensively. Houston is also a solid offensive team, ranking 8th in KenPom's adjusted efficiency ratings. 46 points, 5 of 23 from 3, and just 5 assists. That's what Syracuse was able to do against the suffocating Houston D. Yeah, Oregon State is great at stopping teams form 3, but Houston is even better. More than that, it doesn't have to rely on the 3, but it can hit it. It wasn't on from the outside against the Orange, but a whole slew of rebounds, 11 of the 40 were on the offensive glass, made up for the mistakes. How many offensive boards did Syracuse get? 5. The Cougars are flashy, they attack the rim at both ends of the floor, and they can score in bunches, but they've also showed off their toughness on the glass as well as on defense. They got through the gut-check win over Rutgers. They outplayed the Syracuse team with the more heralded defensive style and three-point shooters, and they're used to doing all of the little things right that pay off in the end. The Cougars are the second-best offensive rebounding squad in the nation. They are going to face an Oregon State defense that is number 63 in adjusted efficiency. Junior guard Quentin Grimes leads Houston with 18.0 points and 6.0 rebounds per game. Grimes scored 22 points against Rutgers and then had 14 against Syracuse. He is knocking down 41.3% of his three-point attempts this season. Sophomore guard Marcus Sasser is scoring 13.3 points, but he is only shooting 38.1% from the floor. Sasser scored 12 points and grabbed 4 rebounds against Syracuse. Senior guard Dejon Jarreau is also a double-digit scorer, averaging 10.4 points and 5.4 rebounds. He is also the top assist man with 4.3 dimes per game. So here are my betting suggestions for that game. Houston still struggles to score and has taken advantage of a very favorable slate of tournament opponents. Oregon State is playing superior on both sides of the ball, and Thompson provides a legitimate high-end scorer that will attack the Cougars' defense all night. In the 65-58 win over Loyola on Saturday, Oregon State held a 24-16 edge at the break and were able to hold the advantage in the second half with a 65-58 result. Leading the way for the Beavers was Ethan Thompson with 22 points, 4 rebounds and 4 assists. Over on the Houston side, there hasn't been much to complain about this season. The Cougars haven't lost consecutive games all year, and they're sitting on a 10-game win streak. Houston has taken out Cleveland State, Rutgers and Syracuse in the national tournament so far. In the Saturday tournament matchup versus Syracuse, Houston jumped out to a nice 30-20 edge at the break and only stretched it from there in a 62-46 win. Leading the team in scoring was Quentin Grimes with 14 points, 4 rebounds and 1 assist. In all, with Houston's tendency to experience lulls on the offensive end, I see Oregon State keeping this game interesting throughout as they will cover the plus points for the 7th straight game. My first betting advice for that game is to pick Oregon State plus 7. Houston opened as an 8.5-point favorite before the line dipped by a point after some early betting action. I love the Cougars in this spot, though. They are going to be the best team Oregon State has faced all season. Houston opens as an 8.5-point favorite and the total is set at 131. My second betting advice for that game is to pick under. Good luck to all of you. That's it for this video. Stay tuned and stay safe for the next betting tips and advice.